What is going on, Tennessee Titans fans? A to Z Sports, Tennessee Titans reporter Sam Phelan. I am live with you for Titans at 2 here from St. Thomas Sports Park. And no, it is not 2 o'clock. It is, not even 1 o'clock. We had to go a little bit early today, and I'm bundled up outside for an impromptu version of Titans at 2 that I did not foresee coming because we have news. And that is that the Tennessee Titans have fired special teams coordinator Craig Aukerman, the man that you saw in the title, the man that you saw on the thumbnail, the man who everybody was calling for his job yesterday. And in a shocking twist, yes, a shocking twist, Mike Vrabel did it. Mike Vrabel just met with the media right here in this building behind me at St. Thomas Sports Park, and I sat down and I was prepared to come at the Titans head coach with a series of questions about why there's no accountability for Craig Aukerman. I wrote an article this morning calling Mike Vrabel to hold Craig Aukerman accountable as, some Titans executives, I believe, passed by me in a golf cart here. But I called Mike Vrabel to do this. I think this is what every Titans fan was waiting for, and never in a million years did I think this would actually happen. This is not the way the Titans do business. So Reginald says this isn't a shock. Yes, it is, Reginald, because Mike Vrabel does not fire coaches mid-season. That is not the way that he works. And as recently as 2 weeks ago, he discussed that he does not feel a need to shake up his coaching staff at all whatsoever, because he doesn't blame the coaches for the players failing to execute. So to me, Craig Aukerman's job was already done. The writing was on the wall for the offseason. But this is a shock to have happened mid-season, and Mike Vrabel finally got fed up enough. Here's what he said when he met with Titans media a little bit earlier.
Had a conversation with Craig Aukerman. I'm going to move on and make a change there in their leadership on the special teams unit. Just trying to evaluate, what we do, who we do it with. I just felt like this was the timing was what it needed to be, and I felt like it was best for the team and for the players, especially going forward.
That is the Titans head coach, Mike Vrabel, and a big change of tune, because here is actually what Mike Vrabel said just last night about Craig Aukerman. Notice there's a big difference here when Mike Vrabel last night took full accountability and put it on himself.
Craig wasn't ready in London when Phillips fielded that punt right before the half. And his unit today wasn't ready for either of those two situations. What's his culpability in those plays?
I don't know what culpability means, but we have to be better. Starts with me, making sure that everything that we do is sound, and there's a level of execution, and then obviously be able to identify whether we've got scheme issues, or we have to move some guys around, or make some minor adjustments. And that's the case in all three phases.
After you, what goes to the coordinator?
It all is on me. It starts with me, and again, when we lose, it's you put it on me. Obviously, that's not good enough. We know we have to be able to protect our punters, our kickers, our quarterbacks. So we just lose games by having those things happen.
Obviously, a very different tune and a very different story than what we just heard from Mike Vrabel here at St. Thomas Sports Park when he announced the Titans are firing Craig Aukerman. Tom Quinn will be the Titans special teams coordinator and running the special teams unit. Before, a veteran coach, has over 30 years of experience, a lot of that coming with the New York Giants. So Tom Quinn will take on those duties, and it's not going to be an easy task. We'll get into that a little bit more, but before we do it, I want to remind everybody about who's on your screen there, and that's Doughbird Pizza and Rotisserie. that is where you are sure to find flavor. Dobert brings you a crave-worthy menu with an unexpected yet perfect duo of pizza and rotisserie, with offbeat flavor combos made even more delicious when you dunk any of your food in the delicious house-made sauces. They always deliver on flavor and satisfaction at Dobert, a neighborhood spot where you can get comfortable, and it's good for any occasion, whether it's, date night, family, dinner, just want to go to the bar and watch the game. Monday Night Football on tonight, go do it at Dobert. They have a spot for every occasion and location, located out in Green Hills. Dobert Pizza and Rotisserie. This is going to be a challenge for Tom Quinn, and frankly, a challenge for the Titans, because, the special teams have been a mess, and that's why this thing was so overdue and so needed to happen. The lack of preparation that this special teams unit has had from the beginning of this season, even dating back to last year, has been absolutely absurd. This special teams unit last year allowed the most punt return yards of any team in football, the most punt return yards allowed. They kicked one field goal over 50 yards the entire season. Randy Bullock made just one field goal. They had issues catching punts pretty much all year long, with anybody they threw back there fumbling punts, from Robert Woods to Amani Hooker to Kyle Phillips to Mason Kinsey. I was going over the names, and there were some defensive backs in there that I forgot played for the Titans. I wouldn't have been able to tell you that Josh Thompson dropped a punt for the Titans last year, but it happened. That's how bad the Titans special teams were. Mike Vrabel made a mistake last offseason when he decided to retain Craig Aukerman with all of those issues in mind. I wrote my article on A2ZSports.com this morning that instead of cleaning up the problems, the Titans swept them under the rug. That's exactly what they did with Aukerman. That's exactly what they had been doing so far this year. Week 1, Ryan Stonehouse had a punt blocked. What did Craig Aukerman say? Well, we got to clean up our formations and figure out our blocking assignments and all of these different things. We have not seen a ton of progress there. Sure, the noise might be a little bit smaller on special teams because Nick Folk has been so good and Ryan Stonehouse is a dog. But what they have done covering kicks has not been very good. What they have done fielding kicks and returning kicks has not been very good. And they do not protect their punter at all. And now, by the way, Ryan Stonehouse done for the season, according to Mike Vrabel in this press conference. So that is the disaster that special teams have been. By the way, without Ryan Stonehouse, yes, you need a new punter. You also need a new holder for Nick Folk. And as Titans fans learned the hard way just yesterday, that holder matters. That is just an absolutely inexcusable thing. By the way, Ryan Tannehill's hold, and it all is on Craig Aukerman to me, because when asked after the game, Titans kicker Nick Folk was asked if he ever had experience kicking with Tannehill holding the football for him before. And he goes, yeah, some. When was the last time he kicked with Tannehill holding the ball? A couple of weeks ago, maybe, he said. Maybe a couple weeks ago. This team behind me, that logo behind me, preaches every single day, prepare like the starter. We have to be ready to go. Prepare like the starter. Get in there when your number is called. And yet Ryan Tannehill, I get it. He's the backup quarterback. He has other responsibilities he also has to worry about. But if he's your backup holder, why is he not ever holding for Nick Folk? Why is it multiple weeks without holding for him? Nick Folk said their operations were off on the missed extra point that caused the disconnect, which had Ryan Tannehill pointing the laces in at Nick Folk, which caused the missed kick. He says Nick Folk made a change in how Tannehill was holding the ball after they missed that first PAT. They made the adjustment and made the field goal in overtime. You would like to think that had they had a little bit more experience doing that and were better prepared, that doesn't happen and the Titans win the football game. So this is unusual for the Titans to fire a coach mid-season, but this thing was long overdue at this point. Craig Aukerman's group never showed up prepared to play. It cost them a game yesterday, and it cost them the health of their Pro Bowl punter, caliber punter, I guess, would have been this year. Hate it for Ryan Stonehouse. More injury updates coming up in a minute and what Mike Vrabel had to say on Jeffrey Simmons, Derrick Henry, other players of note. But before I do that, reminder to everybody about Doughbird Pizza and Rotisserie. I mentioned the bar earlier and Monday Night Football. You can go and grab a seat at the bar before Monday Night Football this afternoon, 3 to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday for happy hour. You can sip on inventive craft cocktails made with daily fresh juices and homemade ingredients alongside local beers and a menu of wines to pair with every bite. I said happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Deals starting at $5 and a bottle and bird special that features a bottle of wine, an entire rotisserie chicken, and 2 sides for $40 when you dine in. So if you're looking for somewhere to go watch Monday Night Football tonight, you need a little bit of a pregame before the game. Maybe you get off work. You can head over to Doughbird. You got an hour left of happy hour. Just make it happen and go visit them. Doughbird in Green Hills. Injury updates for the Titans. Surprisingly, despite what Adam Schefter reported nationally, and Dion wants to know exactly what was the injury to Stonehouse. That is undisclosed at the moment. My understanding is that it is knee related. It is a knee injury for Ryan Stonehouse. What ligament and what kind of the situation is, I'm not 100% sure, but knee is the situation. Mike Vrabel did say Stonehouse done for the year. You hate it for him. And to clarify Brandon's question, yes, you are allowed to hit the kicker's plant leg. Here's why. The ball was blocked. The punt was blocked. Once the ball is blocked, the kicker is fair game to hit as long as it is not helmet to helmet. So if you run into the kicker while they're still holding the football, they are a runner and fair game to hit. And if you block the punt, the kicker is fair game to hit. The only time you cannot hit the punter's plant leg or run through the punter is if the punter gets the kick away. Once the kick is away, if a defender comes plowing through the punter at that point, that is what would draw a penalty. So for those wanting to know, that is why the flag was not thrown. And that is why, Ryan Stonehouse is now injured. Derrick Henry, not in concussion protocol. This was one of the very few positives of the press conference. Well, I guess for some of you, firing Craig Aukerman comes off as a big positive of this press conference. But outside of negative things surrounding the team, a positive is that Derrick Henry is not in concussion protocol. Now, here's how that works, and here's what Mike Vrabel clarified. Derrick was, he went down, he took that hit to the head. He was pulled from the game to get looked at for a concussion. At that time, Titans doctors deemed that he should not continue in the game. That is why Derrick did not continue, and Tajay Spears ended up carrying the load for most of the second half. That is the reason why right there, that they just did not feel like he should continue. After resting, after going back to the locker room, Derrick seemed to improve. Mike Vrabel said him and Derrick Henry were the last 2 people to leave Nissan Stadium. They talked for a while. Derrick seemed normal, did not seem concussed. This morning, Derrick Henry did not have any symptoms of a concussion, and he did work out with the team. So number 22 is not in concussion protocol, despite what Adam Schefter had to say. That is a good sign generally that he could be available on Monday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins. Not that game's going to be super entertaining to watch, but I guess Titans fans, you need a reason to watch. Will Levis is one of them. Derrick Henry's one of them, because when you have a Hall of Fame player like Derrick Henry, every single game that he is suiting up, it is worth watching and not taking for granted. As my laptop almost flies around here. This wind is going crazy right now at St. Thomas Sports Park. I'm going to have to keep a hand on this. So that is the update on Derrick Henry. Now, Jeffrey Simmons, he left the game with a knee injury as well. Attempted to re-enter the game at one point and try and tough it out. Actually made a play, made a really nice play and really nice tackle with his knee already hurt. He ended up being taken out of the game. So it was ruled that it's a not season-ending injury, avoided any serious knee damage. But Mike Vrabel does expect Jeffrey Simmons to miss at least a couple weeks. And so no Big Jeff, no number 98 in Miami. And, TBD on when that timeline is currently, but at least a few weeks for him, hopefully the Titans can get him back by the end of the season. Christian Fulton, it was a hamstring injury. Shocker. Stop me if you guys have heard this before. A hamstring injury for Christian Fulton that took him out of the game early, and he is currently day-to-day with no diagnosis as to what else might be coming his way. Other questions I've seen from Titans fans. One of them, why play Treylon Burks and not Kyle Phillips if Treylon Burks wasn't healthy? And why play Colton Dowell? I'm going to answer that real quick, but I want to remind everybody about Doughbird Pizza and Rotisserie. I mentioned all the options that they have for dine-in, including happy hour, but if takeout is more your style, you can still go to Doughbird, grab the family on the fly takeout bundle to feed the entire family. They're the go-to spot for to-go food in the neighborhood, located in Green Hills with convenient parking, sharing a parking lot with the Shake Shack in Green Hills. If you've driven by Green Hills, you know where I'm talking about. You see it. It's easy parking, easy in and out. So if you're doing takeout and you want to go pick it up, no problem there. You don't have to pay to park. So go to Doughbird for takeout, dine in, whatever you need, where you're sure to find flavor. Why play Treylon Burks over Kyle Phillips? Why play Colton Dowell over Kyle Phillips? Borg says, I swear, Sam, if it's special teams. So here's the deal. Colton Dowell is special teams related. The Titans have obviously not hidden that. That's not a huge shocker. Colton Dowell doesn't play offense. It has been a special teams thing for Colton Dowell. And I got to be honest, that has proven to be the right decision because he has been very impactful on punt coverage, especially making a lot of plays. So I totally understand where Mike Vrabel and the Titans coaching staff is coming from playing Colton Dowell, because that position, that sixth receiver or whatever that is on the roster, is not going to be a guy that you're getting offensive output from anyway. You want the guy who has special teams output. The real problem I had was that Treylon Burks was active, but very limited, and he only played 9 or 10 offensive snaps on the day. Nobody on the Titans wide receiving core has the same skill set that Kyle Phillips has. And yet Kyle Phillips is inactive so that Treylon Burks can play 9 to 10 snaps. How does that make sense? Well, Mike Vrabel said in his press conference that the Titans really prioritized and wanted to make sure they got Treylon in-game opportunities. They understood going in that he was going to be limited in what he was able to do. They understood that he might not be able to play a ton of snaps. They just wanted to get him out there and get him back in the feel of playing in a game so that potentially next week on Monday night in Miami and in the weeks prior or in the weeks following, that he can build off of that performance and potentially have a larger impact on offense. Agree with it? Disagree with it? I don't know. I probably disagree with it. I think if a guy's limited, you're going to want offensive output out there. They only had 3 wide receivers that actually have offensive value available for them for a majority of the game, but that was the decision. Hi, Nick, as he passes behind me. Nick Suss, everybody. But that was the rationale and decision from Mike Vrabel. That's basically the highlights of today's press conference. It was busy. It was loaded and filled with information. There was some good stuff about Will Levis's toughness and willingness to lay his body on the line for his team and the message that sends to his teammates. But a loaded press conference and headlined by the firing of Craig Aukerman. Do me a favor before I head out of here. Like the show before I go so that people, see this before while they scroll YouTube. These people are not sticking around live like you guys are. So give me a thumbs up on the show. That'll help me out here in the future. Until next time, tighten up and keep it glued on A2ZSports.com for all of my Titans content. I will actually be, this is good news here, I'm going right now to the Opryland Resort and Hotel to cover the winter meeting. So if you are a baseball fan living in Nashville and you're curious about Major League Baseball's future in Nashville, I should have some content coming your way that might interest you from the winter meetings here in Nashville. But I'm going to get out of here. Keep it glued on A2ZSports.com. I'll see you guys later. Till then, tighten up.